Good day to everyone watching this episode. Welcome to another episode of Purple Space Casket of Thoughts. Today we've been joined by one and only Aditti Patel. So Aditti Patel, how are you doing and would you like to introduce yourself?
I'm great. Hi, my name's Aditti. I'm great. Um, I'm a high school girl who likes to create change and likes to help her community.
Yep. And she is also the founder of Breakthrough Maps, which I'll let Aditi explain what that organization is about and how she got inspired by it now.
Yeah, so Breakthrough Maps is an organization. So MAPS kind of stands for Mentor Assisted Peer Support. So basically, what it is that we provide emotional and academic support to people that are struggling in school, in their personal life, whatever. They can come to us and we can match them up with a person that is there to kind of be their friend and kind of give them encouragement and motivation throughout their high school career to help them be successful.
Yep. You mentioned that point about emotional support. So when you have organizations such like Breakthrough Maps, you have multiple organizations that try to provide the same, but they don't have this phrase in them like when they're promoting the organization, emotional support. So how exactly do Breakthrough Maps provide emotional support, and what do you mean by that?
Okay, so emotional support basically how our organization works is we match someone up with a mentor that's also in high school that's the same age as them or within a couple years. That way, the person that they're talking to is relatable and they can really connect with someone. And a lot of these kids that kind of come to us for helping for support, asking for encouragement, they don't have motivation in school, they don't kind of have problems in their personal life. And so we aim to kind of fix that by providing some sort of almost like friend in a way, where we offer encouragement and just they can kind of come to us, talk to us like weekly, daily, however much they need about their problems and about, like if they're struggling in school, like we'll help them, we'll get them tutored and things like that. And so we offer emotional support in the way where we're actually there for whoever we are helping and we're there 24 hours a day. They can text us, they can call us whenever they have an issue. And I feel like that is something that's lacking in a couple of organizations. And so we kind of aim to do that because we want to make whoever we help feel like family.
That's actually a brilliant what do I say? A brilliant idea and a brilliant concept that you guys are doing. As we all know, 2020, it's been a very rough year for all of us. So, and your organization, as it focuses more on personal, what do you say, experience with that person when you meet him or her. So, how exactly did throughout this 2020, how did Breakthrough Maps, what do you say, adapt to the change and
Yeah,
adjust to
so a
it?
lot of our schools went online, right? So a lot of these students were struggling in school, to focus or to actually get their work done. And so we offered this free tutoring platform. And basically,
Mm.
our mentors will also tutor them. So not only are we friends with them, but we can also provide them that motivation that they need in school. In addition to that, a lot of these students and a lot of these people who come to us are low income and they do, because of this pandemic, their businesses have closed, their parents have lost their jobs or whatever it is, and they, are struggling financially. So we have created a couple of fundraisers to kind of help them with that. Like right now, we're doing a toy drive or like a toy fundraiser so we can provide toys and presents to these kids who probably won't be getting anything for Christmas because their parents can't afford it. And so we kind of just like to assess what is happening in their personal lives and then kind of create events or roll out things that will help them individually.
All right. That's actually brilliant. Like that's a pretty good way how you guys have adapted to it, and it's a very good initiative providing free tutoring during any year, which is pretty hard. When I was going through the profile on LinkedIn about breakthrough maps, it the thing that struck to me was how you guys started it at this at a very young age. So what was that like a regular person who's 15, 16, they don't usually think about something this advanced, you could say. So what was that one point in your like when you were that age that made you start this organization?
Yeah, so like from a young age, I just felt like I've been very interested in helping other people and, like helping my community. And I guess I like didn't realize that I had the power or the resources or the people around me to create kind of like a life-changing organization like this until, you know, late middle school, early high school. And so how I kind of started it was that I used to go to this learning center. It was kind of like a tutoring center, and I still go there today. And I was very close with one of the head instructors there, and she would tell me all of these stories that were really emotional about these teenagers and these kids who went to the school that her husband worked at. And so these are the kids that we kind of tutor right now. So I realized that I wanted to do something to help them because I felt really bad. Like I felt like I needed to help them because through the stories that she told me, like these kids were going through so many like rough patches and just had so many things that they could really use like a friend or a mentor with. And so I kind of sat down and I like brainstormed with her about like what we could do, and we ended up coming up with this whole initiative.
Yeah, that's actually a brilliant story. I mean, yeah, so that's a pretty beautiful story and how you got inspired by a teacher's story. So, okay, so now on the topic of what do you say, organizations and how your organization is helping the poor in America. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like I'm from India, and the common concept that you get anywhere else other than America about America is that America is quite a wealthy country and it doesn't have many poor people and unemployed people. So could you like just help me break the stigma of this thing and just let us know like what's the reality of that?
Yeah, so normally there are a lot of people kind of perceive America as something, as a country that's wealthy, has a lot, but a lot of the things that kind of make America just like great. Also, there's so many just like poor people, unemployed people, and just people who are struggling financially. And that's mainly just due to the fact that there are a lot of people who, come here that don't have degrees in college or don't have any of that sort of thing. And so they'll work, like farm jobs or, like minimum wage jobs, which are not enough to kind of sustain a family. And so that's how a lot of these people kind of get roped into just living here, but they don't have enough money to live here. And so we just try to, like help them, and a lot of them kind of congregate in areas like where I live because I live right next to the California Mexico border, and so a lot of these immigrants are coming to America to start a better life, but they don't have the requirements or the college education to do so, and so they'll start working like minimum wage jobs, which don't really, help sustain a lifestyle here.
This year, we also saw many protests in America regarding Black Lives Matter and even immigrants coming out. And you are also of Indian origin in America. So,
Yeah.
could you share some light on like what was the issue, like what's the real issue about racism faced against the immigrants and also the Indian community and Asian community in general in
Yeah.
America?
So the racism we have here, it's widespread. And a lot of people, if you don't pay close attention to it, you wouldn't really know it's there. It's very like inconspicuous. It's systemic and it's ingrained in our system because back when, our country was established, we still had slaves, and we still had the people who made our country still had slaves here. And so racism is kind of ingrained in every single system of our country. And so it's really hard because all of these immigrants, specifically Asian American immigrants that came here from Asia, including, Indians, we came here for the American dream in a sense, where you could achieve all your dreams and things like that. And I feel like immigrants here kind of perceive America as something that's very good and something that has been beneficial to them, which it has been. But they kind of fail to realize all the flaws that we do have here regarding racism and just regarding equity and equality. And I feel like the second generation immigrants, like me and everyone around me, have kind of realized that we need to inform other people and inform, our parents, our grandparents that live here, kind of talking about how different it is than what they perceive America as and what we perceive America as. And in that way, it was really hard to explain to them how, systemic racism works and it how people benefit who aren't African American benefit from the systemic racism and how we can solve it. And it was hard to communicate with them because obviously they have something that is in America, they have something in their heads that America, is great and it provides so many opportunities, which it does, but it doesn't provide opportunities equally for everyone that lives here.
That last sentence you said, I think so it sums it up perfectly. How it provides opportunity, but not equally to everyone. That's with almost every first world country where
Yeah.
people immigrate to. So now talking on this same topic, how you started your organization when you were just a kid, and not only are you a girl, you're also of color. And in America, how did you like? How did the community react when you started this organization in general?
So the community that I live in is pretty diverse. We have a lot of Asian Americans, Mexican Americans, but also, people who also just kind of look down upon people of color as well. And so it was very hard to kind of create this organization, try to make a lasting change on our end, not on the other kids' end, because we wanted to find other people who would provide meaningful and insightful additions to our team. And a lot of people just didn't want to associate with a group that helped immigrants from other schools and other places, like especially low income. And it was really hard to find people. But eventually, we kind of explained to them, we kind of showed them within the first months, how much of an impact like your work would have on these kids. And eventually, we have so many people here trying to join our organization. And it's really heartwarming to see that change because you really just change people's minds by just proving them wrong. And
Yeah.
it's crazy to see how much it's changed.
Yeah, that's very inspiring how you started against all odds and now how the people who were against you are now trying to help you in this cause. On this note, what would you like there are many girls out there who are also facing the same issue when they're trying to start something, when they're trying to maybe post their art or their dance videos in their covers. They have this fear in their head that first of all they're girls, second of all they fear that just because they're girls and maybe they have color or they'll get judged by the society. So what advice would you like to give them to the girls that are facing these issues?
Yeah, so I would just say just don't listen to them because at first I was very scared for what people would say. I was scared to approach other people talking about my organization and the things I've done. But eventually, you go to a point where you love what you're doing so much that it doesn't matter what other people say. And I feel like everyone just has to realize that you love what you're doing, and so you shouldn't have, no one else's opinions should affect what you're doing, because you love it, and in the end, if you love it and you enjoy it, and even if other people don't, you should still continue to do it and still continue to push forward, and eventually there'll be people that kind of appreciate it and love what you're doing after seeing what you're doing.
I hope that was inspiring for all of you, as inspiring it was for me. So now getting back to the topic of breakthrough maps. Breakthrough maps, you could say it's sort of a non-profit organization that does charitable work. Yeah.
Mhm.
So whenever anyone does charity, they get this feeling of gratitude, not gratitude, yeah, a feeling of gratitude in themselves, just a sense of happiness. So was there any one specific moment in your, like, how long you've been doing breakthrough maps? Was there any one specific moment that really made you smile, like, more than before, or just made you feel sense of gratitude?
Yeah. So there have been, I've been doing this for 3, 4 years. So there's been so many moments, but definitely one significant one is when I was helping this one high school student, and he had a test, a math test the next day, and he did not understand anything that was going on, right? So I was helping him for an hour, right? And he still did not get it at the end of the hour, right? So I was like, okay, I'll stay, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, however long after, so you can get it. And he was so grateful. He was so thankful that I would actually take the time out of my day and that I actually cared to stay those 30, 45 minutes afterwards, because no one in his life had provided that kind of support or motivation to him. And it really changed my perspective, because for me, I have so many resources and opportunities that I can kind of look to help me, like do better in school or increase my grades. But for them, like, this is the only thing they have. And so it kind of opened my eyes to, how much of an impact we can make and how appreciative they were of what we were doing.
Okay, that was I would have not expected that, but yeah, that makes a lot of sense as well. And usually in your life, it is often a stranger that gives you the most love that you never expected. Um, Purple Space is also a youth organization, and so is Breakthrough Maps. So there are multiple youth organizations that are coming up across the globe, and many of them, the students, they just lose, what do you say? They lose interest in their youth organization because they're not getting the views, or they're not
Yeah.
getting the support or the impact they want to make early on, and then they just give up the whole project, and they just focus on other stuff. And you've been going on 3 4 years, and how you mentioned, how you started with barely no support, and now you've come with a now you have a huge team that are helping you. So
Yeah.
what advice would you like to give these young entrepreneurs, you could say, that are starting their youth organization but are losing their motivation because they're not getting the impact they want to make right now?
I would say, obviously, don't give up on what you're doing, because if you want to make an impact, obviously, it's going to be slow in the beginning. Like, you just have to realize that any change that you're making in your community is a big change. It doesn't have to be immediately you have like 50 people on your team, or you are helping like tens of thousands of people immediately. Any small change that you're making in your community that you can make an impact in your community is amazing. And just, you have to grow by doing. And all of these big companies and all of these big organizations started from somewhere, started from zero, started from somewhere, and they grew. And it didn't take them like, it took them like a long time. It didn't take them like, like a day or two to grow where they are right now. And you have to be patient, and you have to love what you're doing so much that even if you don't have that support early on, you continue to do it because you love it so much, and eventually people will start paying attention, people will start being aware of what you're doing and how much of an impact or how much you're changing people's lives.
And I also feel like another important factor would also, it would also depend on the vision and the mission that the youth organization has in plan. So,
Yeah.
just on that note, what is the vision and mission going forward for Breakthrough Maps post 2020? Seeing that hopefully that lockdown will be reduced and
Yeah.
all that.
So we want to help obviously as many people as we can. And right now we're only functioning in Southern California region, around, Los Angeles, but we would love to expand and move further into other states and other regions and maybe even other countries, and creating, like chapters of breakthrough maps in their countries or their states, and doing the same thing that we do, but in their region. Because there's only so many of us right now, right? So we can't really expand. But in the future, we would love to expand and provide all the other people that need help, um, help,
Yeah,
and it's it's just really, it's something that we really want to happen in the future. And so hopefully we can make it happen. With the rate that we're going at right now, possibly by next year, maybe next, or maybe the year after that. But we definitely do want to expand into other regions.
wow, that's so that has a lot of clarity in it. And I hope you guys achieve all that you guys want to achieve in the coming years. Um, Now, coming towards the end of the episode, I'd like to ask you another question about breakthrough maps. So, imagine that you had like the name breakthrough maps you have right now. Imagine if you had, if that name was taken, what other name would you have given? And is there any, also, was there any specific reason that you chose the name breakthrough maps?
Okay, so breakthrough maps is obviously symbolic because it stands for something. It stands for mentor assisted peer support, which is, what we're doing. We're providing a mentor to their peer or someone, and we provide support. But basically, the reason why we kind of settled on breakthrough maps is because with our organization, these students can kind of map their way to a new future and create change in their lives, and hopefully, create generational change in their lives, go to college or do something academically or personally that they've always wanted to do.
That's a pretty smart way of choosing a pretty clever name, I'd say. Uh, Now you guys are providing support to these poor children in your region, and there are many. I wouldn't say poor. There are many children or people watching this episode or who'll be hearing this who are not that financially stable and who do not have the support that you guys are providing. And what piece of advice would you like to give these guys who are slowly losing their hope in their life, on how they can like carry forward and handle the situations?
Yeah, there's always a way to move forward and to achieve your goals. You just have to believe, and you will find a way if you are motivated to do that. And I would, suggest talking to other people and teachers or adults that can get you connected with these people who can offer you support, because I know our organization isn't the only one uh, that gives academic support. We might be one of the only ones that give emotional support. But if you have the motivation to, do well in school and to go to college and create enough money, to be financially stable in the future, if that's one of your goals, then there are so many resources that can help you online or through your network of teachers or adults. And so just don't give up, and you will 100% find your way to your goal, in one way or another.
Yeah, there's always someone out there that can help you. So now, is there any final note that you'd like to tell the viewers, and are there any socials that they can follow you and breakthrough maps on to look at the journey forward?
Yeah, so lastly, I just want to say just no change can come out of being static. You always have to work for what you want. And again, no change is a small change. Like you will always be making a big impact on whatever you're doing, no matter how small or big it is. And so I just want to tell everyone that anything is possible if you just have the motivation to do it. And yeah, you guys can follow me on Instagram or connect with me on LinkedIn. It's just my full name, Aditti Patel, Aditti, Patel, Patel. And you guys can connect with Breakthrough Maps on Instagram or LinkedIn. And it's just Breakthrough Maps on both socials.
That was a brilliant episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. We learned a lot here, and I think so we can come out with the moral that there's always someone out there that can help you. You should always have hope, and there's no change that is big or small. It always starts with the first step. Yeah.
Exactly. Yep.
All right.